right, diving into the world of energy drinks today.
Ugh.
And I have to say, the research you gave me is pretty fascinating.
It is, isn't
Yeah,
it?
we're breaking down this National Library of Medicine study.
Mhm.
It's called Energy Drink Consumption, Beneficial and Adverse Health Effects.
A lot to unpack there.
Yeah, I know. I know our listeners are really looking for, like, the bottom line.
Yeah.
Like, do the benefits outweigh the risks?
Right.
What should we be aware of?
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to get into all of that today, and trust me,
Okay.
there are some surprising findings that might change how you think about that next can.
Yeah, it's a bit like a detective story.
Ugh.
Uncovering clues about these popular drinks that go way beyond just a simple caffeine jolt.
Totally.
Yeah.
So before we get into all the good and the bad and the controversial,
Okay.
let's start with the basics. What's actually in these drinks? Besides caffeine, I mean.
Yeah, you'll find a mix of ingredients like glucose,
Okay.
taurine, guarana, and ginseng.
Guarana.
Some of these, like guarana, actually contain even more caffeine.
Oh.
Others, like taurine, are amino acids that some claim can help with mental performance
Okay.
and athletic recovery.
Interesting.
But the research on those claims is still pretty mixed.
It is, yeah, it's interesting how energy drinks are marketed, isn't it?
It is.
Like you see those commercials with athletes, like pushing their limits, and you
yeah.
think, oh, this is the key to, like, suit your human performance.
It's definitely a powerful marketing strategy,
Yeah.
especially when you consider who they're targeting.
Yeah.
Global consumption of energy drinks hit a whopping 5.8 billion liters back in 2013.
Wow, 5.8 billion liters.
Huge.
It's insane.
And a large portion of that market is young people.
It seems like it's shifted from, like, solely focusing on athletes
It has.
to, like, targeting a much wider audience.
Absolutely.
Which raises some questions about the potential health impacts.
It does.
Especially for younger consumers. And this is where our deep dive into the research gets really interesting.
It does.
The study points to both potential benefits and some serious risks associated with energy drinks.
Yeah.
So let's unpack that.
Okay.
Let's start with the potential benefits. What did the research show?
So there's evidence suggesting energy drinks can enhance physical performance
Okay.
in certain situations. For example, one study found that cyclists who consumed an energy drink
Okay.
had significantly better endurance
Interesting.
compared to those who didn't.
Wow.
And researchers believe this is because of a synergistic effect,
Okay.
meaning the combination of ingredients like caffeine, glucose, and taurine has a greater impact
Yeah.
than any single ingredient alone.
That makes sense. So there might be some truth to those marketing claims
There might be.
about, like, boosting athletic performance,
Mhm.
but it's more nuanced
It is.
than just, like, chugging a can and suddenly becoming a super athlete.
Right, exactly.
And it's important to note that this particular study focused on endurance.
Yeah, not other types of athletic performance.
Right. That makes sense. What about the cognitive boost a lot of people associate with energy drinks?
Interesting.
Is there any, like, scientific basis for that?
Interestingly, yes.
Okay.
Studies have shown that energy drinks can improve memory, alertness, and mood,
Okay.
particularly for people who are sleep deprived.
So that's probably why a lot of students rely on energy drinks during, like, those late night study sessions.
Yeah, makes sense since we know caffeine can help sharpen focus
Yeah.
and counteract fatigue in the short term.
But hang on.
Yeah.
I read something about energy drinks and driving safety, which seems a bit counterintuitive, doesn't it?
You'd think so, right?
Okay.
But one study found that glucose-based energy drinks
Okay.
might actually improve driving performance in people who are tired.
Really? How does that work?
Well, glucose is the brain's primary fuel source. And when you're fatigued,
Yeah.
your glucose levels can dip, leading to decreased alertness and slower reaction times. The theory is that by providing a quick hit of glucose,
Okay.
these drinks can temporarily restore alertness and focus.
That's pretty surprising, but I'm guessing that doesn't give people a free pass
Right.
to just guzzle energy drinks and then get behind the wheel.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Drowsiness is a major cause of accidents,
It is.
and it's crucial to address the underlying fatigue,
Yes.
not rely on a temporary fix.
Need a good night's sleep, everyone.
Exactly.
But it is interesting to see that glucose
Yeah,
might play a role in mitigating the effects of fatigue
it is.
in certain situations.
It's definitely an area for further research.
Yeah.
However, let's be clear. These potential benefits shouldn't overshadow the very real risks associated with energy drinks,
Yeah, that's a good point.
especially when consumed regularly or in excess.
We've touched on the potential benefits, but what about the other side of the coin?
Right.
The adverse effects.
Right.
This study goes into a lot of detail about those, and it
Yeah.
sounds like there's cause for concern.
There is.
Yeah.
And we need to approach this part of the discussion carefully.
Okay.
The study outlines potential adverse effects on several different body systems,
Okay.
starting with the cardiovascular system, your heart health.
Yeah, heart health is so important.
It is.
And it sounds like energy drinks can have a real impact.
They can. Imagine your heart racing, even when you're just sitting still.
I don't like that.
That's what some studies have shown can happen after drinking energy drinks.
Wow.
Because of the caffeine boost.
Right.
But it goes beyond that.
Okay.
We're talking potential for irregular heartbeats,
Wow.
even in healthy young people.
That's scary.
In some cases, a connection to more serious heart problems.
Yeah, and it's not just the heart, right?
Yeah.
What about the nervous system?
Think about that jittery, anxious feeling you can get from too much coffee.
Oh, yeah.
Now amplify that.
Uh-oh.
Studies have linked excessive energy drink consumption to increased anxiety, insomnia,
Yeah.
and even, in extreme cases, hallucinations.
Hallucinations from energy drinks.
It can happen.
Wow.
There are also potential links to seizures and stroke, which are obviously
Right.
very serious health concerns.
It's a stark reminder that these drinks are powerful
They are.
and need to be treated with caution.
Yes.
But the negative effects don't stop there, do they?
No, they don't.
What about the impact on, like, the digestive system,
Right.
teeth, even the kidneys?
Let's start with the sugar overload.
Okay.
Many energy drinks are packed with sugar,
Right.
and that can lead to weight gain,
Mhm.
type 2 diabetes,
Right.
and even negatively impact your gut bacteria.
So those, like, sweet, enticing flavors
Yeah.
put a price?
They do.
And what about the dental impact?
Mhm.
For they're really bad for your teeth.
That's because they're highly acidic and full of sugar.
Oh, okay.
Combination that can erode tooth enamel.
Mm-hmm.
This can lead to cavities, tooth sensitivity,
Yeah.
and a less than sparkling smile.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Sounds like those are some pretty serious consequences.
They are.
And finally, the kidneys.
Okay.
Essential for filtering waste from the body.
It is.
And I understand energy drinks can put them under stress.
Your kidneys are constantly working to filter everything you consume.
Right.
Energy drinks can make them work overtime,
Wow.
potentially leading to dehydration
Mm-hmm.
and, in extreme cases, kidney damage.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
We've seen that while energy drinks might offer some benefits,
Yeah.
the potential risks are significant,
Yes.
affect multiple systems in the body.
Definitely a lot to consider.
Yeah, it is definitely a lot to consider.
Mm-hmm.
And it's important to acknowledge that the scientific research on energy drinks
Right.
isn't always clear-cut.
It's not.
There are studies that show conflicting results.
There are.
So some research says one thing,
Yeah.
and other research says another.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, there are a lot of variables that can influence the results of a study.
Okay.
Things like the dosage of caffeine,
Mm-hmm.
the types of participants, even the way the study is designed can all lead to different outcomes.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But it seems like the bottom line is that we need to be cautious with these drinks.
We do.
Yeah, and a big part of that is understanding the role of caffeine,
Yeah, absolutely.
which seems to be at the heart of both the benefits
It is.
and the risks.
Caffeine is a powerful stimulant, and it's definitely a double-edged sword.
It is.
On the one hand, it can enhance alertness,
Right.
focus, and mood,
Yeah,
which is why so many people reach for that energy drink in the first place.
but there's a flip side, right?
There is.
Too much caffeine can lead to some pretty unpleasant side effects.
Absolutely. Dosage is key.
Yeah.
The average energy drink contains a lot of caffeine,
Okay.
comparable to multiple cups of coffee.
Wow.
And when you consume that much caffeine, you can experience what's called caffeine intoxication.
What are the symptoms of caffeine intoxication?
You might experience anxiety, insomnia, digestive problems,
Oh, yes.
and a whole host of other unpleasant symptoms.
Okay.
Basically, your body's way of saying enough is enough.
Yeah. All right. So even if we try to moderate our consumption,
Right.
the high sugar content in many energy drinks is still a big concern.
You're right.
Yeah,
The amount of sugar in some of these drinks is alarming.
it is.
And we know that excessive sugar consumption is linked to all sorts of health problems like obesity,
Right.
type 2 diabetes,
Yeah.
and metabolic syndrome.
It's almost like a sugar bomb going off in your system.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And while some energy drinks offer artificially sweetened options,
Okay.
It's important to remember that those aren't necessarily a healthier alternative.
Right.
Artificial sweeteners come with their own set of potential risks.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a free lunch.
Yeah.
Even when it comes to sweeteners.
Yeah.
This is turning out to be a lot more complex than I initially thought.
It is a complex landscape,
It is.
but hopefully we're starting to paint a clearer picture for you.
Yeah.
It's all about weighing the potential benefits against the very real risks
Absolutely.
and making informed choices.
And that's what we're here to help you do.
We are.
We've only just scratched the surface of this deep dive.
We have.
Stick with us as we unpack even more research in part 2.
Definitely.
Welcome back to our deep dive into energy drinks.
Yeah,
It's already been an eye-opening journey,
it has.
and we're ready to dig even deeper into the research.
Okay.
We talked about some potential benefits earlier,
Right.
but also touched on like some conflicting studies.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious to explore that a bit more.
Okay.
How can some studies show positive effects from energy drinks,
Yeah.
while others show like negative effects or no effects at all?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And it highlights just how complex this topic is.
Yeah.
There are a lot of variables at play when it comes to studying the effects of these drinks.
Like what?
Yeah.
What are some of the things
Yeah.
that might cause these discrepancies?
Well, first of all, not all energy drinks are created equal.
Okay.
Some have higher caffeine levels, different combinations of ingredients, or varying amounts of sugar.
Okay.
So comparing the results of studies that use different types of energy drinks
Right.
can be like comparing apples and oranges.
That makes sense. And what about the people
Yeah.
participating in the studies?
Mm-hmm.
Could that have an impact?
Absolutely. Individual responses to caffeine can vary widely.
Yeah.
And factors like age, body weight, and overall health can all play a role
Right.
in how someone reacts to an energy drink.
That makes sense.
So a study with young, healthy participants
Okay.
might yield different results than a study with older participants
Right.
or those with underlying health conditions.
That makes sense. It seems like the dosage of caffeine would be a major factor too, right?
You're exactly right.
Yeah.
Caffeine is a powerful stimulant,
It is.
and the amount consumed can make a big difference.
Okay.
A small dose might lead to increased alertness,
Right.
while a larger dose could cause anxiety, jitters,